words, you in desperate situation, look for a time of reflection. If your actions are right, and I said earlier, what you sow in desperate situation, it comes alive. And the only way it comes alive, it first has to die. You can sow bad seeds in your life by speaking negative words. But those words get into you, and you believe those words into your heart, which is down as the ground. And those things become a part of you and they die. You're not going to be any good to nobody, not even for yourself. Desperate time calls for spinning regular quality time, reading, fasting, praying, and seeking God to be victorious. Desperate days calls for determination. You got to be determined for God you live and for God you die. You got to be determined regardless of what the trial or the test is. I'm going to stay and I'm going to wait right here until I see an answer. You're going to have to be determined. You're going to have a made up mind. For God I live and for God I die. You're going to have to be determined that you're going to trust in the Lord. You're going to have to be determined to know that your God, if He brought you through this, He's going to bring you through that. You're going to have to be determined to know that God said in His word that He'll never leave you nor forsake you, that He with you always, even unto the end. You're going to have to learn to be determined to go ahead in spite of what the situation may look like. As I listen to my Lord talk about the miracles that have transpired in her life about cancer, and she could have given up, but she was determined to believe the report of God. She lives among her own people. Yet at the time of the year went around, she conceived and she had a man child.